Welcome to the space where creators have aligned a positive and intellectual collab of open minds. We're sharing and learning from one another, it's a vibe. ReadswithRosa podcast on the mic. Subscribe, educator spitting bars. I guess you didn't know I'm multifaceted and humble, taking off life goals. The classroom is my comfort zone where I plant and sow seeds of knowledge, compassion, empathy, and hope. Welcome to the ReadswithRosa podcast. Thank you to all of you who have been tuning in on a regular basis, either watching us here on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify or Google Podcasts. Much love and appreciation. Don't forget to click like at the bottom, share the video, and click subscribe. Also, you can head over to my Instagram page at ReadswithRosa and follow our guests that we've had on each week. So now, I would like to introduce this week's guest. I'm really excited. I know I say that every week, but here today we have a sister who is super, super inspirational. She is a mother. She's an entrepreneur, a creative designer. She is the owner of So Much Soul Clothing and the brand Designs by She Has Soul. Welcome to the show, Crystal. What's up?
Thank you.
Man, it's so good to have you here. So nice. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm hot. California is extremely hot today. So
California is not being nice to you right now. But you know what? I am so jealous. Like here you I mean, okay, my bad. I know you're hot, but I'm so jealous because here I am in Christchurch, New Zealand, in the cold. It's winter. I mean, come on now.
See, I would much rather be wearing hoodies though.
Really? Oh man.
Oh,
you know what? So hilarious. Funny that you mentioned that because I started wearing I'm gonna get to that. Sneaky. Well, it's so funny, right? Because I've been wearing hoodies like most of the podcast interviews I've been doing. Because when I started, it was going into spring, but it was still freezing as cold. And now it's summer, heading into summer in Japan. Now I'm in New Zealand and I'm still wearing hoodies. Not that I'm complaining. I love hoodies. Now, let's just rewind because Crystal said, I love that hoodie that you wear. Yeah, because you know what, fam, audience, people who are listening, you can't see I'm wearing, this is my favorite, actually, this one. And I have another one that She Has Soul on it. This says soldier, soul as in SOUL, and this, yeah, I love it. Like honestly, these were one of the first few hoodies that I brought from Crystal and her company, which we're going to talk more about. But let me stop. Why am I making this about me? I have this amazing woman here as our guest. Crystal, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Jesus, there's so many layers to it. I don't know. I just don't know how to stop. Like I keep building and building and learning and process of elimination. And, you know, it's been a really rough road to get here, but at the same time, it's extremely gratifying and, you know, I'm super thankful. I'm still here kicking. Can't put me down, that's for sure. You know, just being the best example I can to my family, my kids especially, and myself, you know, the most. Like I just know it's there and I don't have a choice. So definitely been an interesting road.
Right, man, life and its learning curves, right? You know, like I mean, you are like beast mode. Like I've seen, you know, I see because you have the page, which is So Much Soul Clothing. You also have the Designs by She Has Soul. And like, honestly, I just see you. There's so many different products and like custom designs and things like that you do. I'm like, man, does this woman sleep or what? Like, do you know, like it's super dope. And like, I know when I ordered from you, like, I guess I'll tell everyone now, like, this is how I came across Crystal's business is, you know, obviously during the pandemic, like I'm a big fan of supporting small businesses. And it was just so random that I came across your page. And I'm a huge fan of Napoleon the Legend, right? And so I actually
Okay.
saw him. That's how I came across your page, because
Oh,
I
that's
saw him
so
wearing,
dope.
oi, for real. I saw him wearing
Oh, the infamous
the
hoodie.
infamous So Much
Uh-huh.
So, right? And then
Yeah.
like I saw that and I was like, that is so dope. So I was looking it up. And then I came across your page and I was like, what? And then there was this other hoodie that I saw, which I loved, the one that says, "Don't count your blessings, not your problems."
Hmm.
Which then I was like, yo, I gotta get that. And then I was on your website, and I think what I really, I just, they were designs that I hadn't seen before. I loved the logos and the sayings that you had. So I was, what made me even more excited to order from you was that in terms of customer service, you were so onto it. Like you would get back to me, and like even when you sent the package out, like you kept in touch that whole time. Like some people are just kind of like, you do it through a website, and then it's like, am I talking to a
That's
bot? Like,
it.
but you were like every step of the way. And like, I thought that was super dope, especially during the pandemic when there were all these different businesses kind of like,
Yeah.
promoting and putting stuff out. So I, like, for me as a first time customer with you, I really appreciated that, which is why then I came back and I was like, yo, I need to order some more. And like, I honestly, you were just like, just in terms of customer support and customer care, like even the fact that I was like, oh, could I have this color? Could I have it in this color? Like you were really open to that. You were really caring about the customer. And then when I received the package, even the way that it was packaged, and you could tell you had been part of that every step of the way from communication. So I, again, as a customer, so appreciated that. And then ever since then, I've been just following these, just watching you doing these
Thank you.
amazing things. Like, I know, here I go, stop telling
Yeah, no,
stories.
that's how it kind of, I mean, that's the thing. That's why I have the three pages, because I have my personal stuff,
Right.
which I know you have also, and then
Yeah.
So Much Soul was first, and then
Yeah.
designs came later.
Right.
And no, it's I mean, it's me. That's what I do. So definitely appreciate that feedback, because
Yeah.
I take pride in how I fold my shirts, how I package something, how
But
how everything's sent out. So
yeah, but
definitely
that's
appreciate that.
that's what, like, I respect this so much, because I can tell you that I've ordered from companies and they don't even package it. Like, it's just wrapped, and then I'm just like, don't you want to like go the extra mile, because there are companies out there that are super pricey. And I, like I said, I love supporting small businesses. And I just found with your company, you could just tell that every step of the way you had a say in that. And I just really appreciated that. Like, I was like, yo, this is definitely a model that if I wanted to do something, I would want to make sure that I'm also having a say. And, it's all those little things to have customers coming back. But it's cool because people see my hoodies and I'm like, yo, you gotta check out the, because I love it here. Because in Japan, no one's seen this. Like, I'm just like rocking all these cool hoodies from you. And I'm like, yo, stop talking about it. You need to go follow her on Instagram, man. You won't be disappointed.
Thank you.
Um, for real. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like business and dreams, like when you were in school, when you were growing up, did you always see yourself kind of like going into business? Like, how did you actually get into merch, into
Yeah.
business and products and custom designs? Like,
The long story short, yeah, I definitely knew in high school that, like, the whole college thing and university and all
mm,
everything that came with that path, like, it just wasn't something that I was interested in. And not to say I maybe should have chose that road and maybe been a little bit more money in my pocket at this point, but it's just not me. And that's kind of like my overall life motto, is like just being real. And I I made decisions that may not have been the best to get through it, but I
mm,
still went with what I thought was for me and right at the time, and
mm,
in every situation. Um, So from there, it was like that business mentality and always wanting to have a business, just not really knowing exactly where yet. But
Mm.
um, then right after high school, I started working, well, actually, I was working part time in high school, but then after high school, um, I started working at the mall and I was working at Victoria's Secret and I hated it. It was just like the worst, the worst. Sorry for anybody that works there, but
No
like
offense.
it just, it was one of those things that like you have to lay every single item one at a time. I'm just like, and
Right, right.
it took like an hour to get a table right. And it took
Yeah.
like 2 minutes for people to come in and pick them up and mess them all up. And it's like, really? Oh, that was
Oh.
funny. So while I was working there at the mall, they ended up opening this hip hop store. And at the time, there
Mm,
was Demo. It was like a streetwear clothing store, but it was like more like commercial type
mhm.
streetwear. And then this store opened up called Workman's in the same mall, which was like the most perfect store I could have asked for. I mean, it was like underground hip hop at the time. The decor of the store was like street, like Subway. It was just so awesome. So I would go in there on my breaks and my lunches and eventually start talking to the people that worked there. And I got hired there. And then I ended up becoming a manager there. And
Wow.
that just kind of started off where I wanted to, when I knew what I wanted to do. Because after
Mm,
working there, I came across like LRG, 555 Soul, Tribal, like
wow.
it was just all these like really cool brands at the time. And it wasn't like you wouldn't see them everywhere. So when you would see them, it was like, oh
Mm.
shit, like yeah, that's dope. And I know that shirt or I know that brand. And so it was just like a really cool intro. And then while I was working there, I worked there for a good handful of years, and that's kind of where, after seeing all of these brands, I'm like, I could do this. Like, this is exactly what I
Yo.
want to do. So then it kind of like became like, okay, what would I name it? I would just think to myself while I'm working, like, if I had a brand, what would I name it? And, you know, of course, like one of my all-time favorites is I Used to Love Her by Common.
Mm,
And, he says, of course, the So Much Soul line. And then also there was these two DJs, Vinrock and Shortcut, and they had these series of mixes called So Much Soul. So
mm.
like we sold them at the store. So we sold a bunch of CDs, but those were like some really good sellers, and um, it kind of just went together, and like I even had like my email from, I don't even know, was that like 2001, 2002, was like So Much Soul 22. It's like, so I had already had it in my head, like
Yeah.
if I ever had a brand, that would be the name. So then I went through a whole bunch of things to get here and get there, and it was just like it I still made it happen regardless. And however it is, I mean, I've been in this game for a long time now, but there's been a lot of things that try to keep me from it.
Mm.
And either way, I mean, even now, if you look at the page, like I haven't even been active in some
Mm.
time, but like if you see my other page, you see that I'm
Yes.
still really busy. And honestly, I don't even post as much as I should. I have so many
Right.
pictures sitting in my phone just because like
Mm.
I don't have time to
Right. Well,
like
that's what I was
post.
trying to figure out, right? Because I'm always checking out your website, but then I see the design, the custom design,
Hmm.
the glasses and the cups. Like there's so many other things going on. I'm like, yo,
Uh-huh.
okay, she must be focusing on that. But honestly, man, perseverance, man, for real. It's just I
Yeah, definitely.
love, where are your customers? Like, how did you build? I guess, yeah, how difficult was it to build a customer base? Is
Well, at
everything
first,
word of mouth or?
yeah. So at first it was a lot of like word of mouth and, just my friends and
Mm,
family supporting and stuff, of course. It's like I'm not gonna put something out there that's whack.
yeah, right, right,
Like I
yep,
mean, if you don't like my designs, then that's one thing. But like I wear everything that I make,
yeah,
and it's like I always
yeah,
I know I've been through enough of the companies now at this point where I know like, okay, this isn't that cool. I should probably take
yeah,
this
yeah.
down. But But no, it really started, with the support of everybody around me. And then it was just word of mouth from that point. But then I just feel like it got to a point recently where it was like, okay, um, like even last year, during the pandemic, it was
Mm.
sending out packages to, I was just like, how did you find me? Like, how did you find like my company? But it was just so cool, like sending out all these packages and, you know, like reaching out and just reaching these different places and people. And, like I didn't get to talk to everybody, of course, like with you. That
Mm.
was, certain circumstances, it's like I'm gonna go a little bit more. If it was just like, a t-shirt, I still send it out with the same
Mm.
vibe and I still put as much care into it, but like I may not actually get to conversate or like speak to the person. But
Mm.
but yeah, it was really cool. So now, I mean, I don't I don't push it, I don't like, I guess that's kind of why like even the interview was kind of like, What? Why?" But like I'm always behind the scenes. Like you don't see me. You don't know. I like that you don't know who's running it, for the most
Right.
part. And I had to put a little snippet out there about myself on the website. I don't even know if it's still there. I think I might have taken it down. But it was just kind of like I needed people to know who was running it, because
Yeah.
like
Well,
just
I know you were probably thinking, why the hell does she want to interview me? But I have been like, when I started this podcast and I was putting together, like, it's hilarious. I put together this is my wish list. And I was just thinking of just these amazing people that, I follow, they follow me back, and just doing, different walks of life, and they're at different points of their lives, and just the amazing things that people I know are doing. And I was just like, man, here's a business right here. Here's this woman doing amazing stuff. I want to make sure, I want people to hear and connect with her and just see what you're doing. Like, I didn't really have a big reach. I didn't think I didn't
thank
have a
you.
big reach, but I was just like, even just to get a few people curious
No,
and
man, I
clicking on
appreciate
your
that.
link.
Thank you.
For real, man. Like I'm always like, my favorite music, and my some of my friends are artists. I'm always like promote. I'm like, yo guys, go check out this music. It's cool, man, because like you went extra. Like, so you can't, went out of your way. You were checking in, and like, oh, even down to the shipping and things like that. And like I said in the beginning, that showed me the kind of business woman that you were, the kind of company owner that you were. And I, as a customer, I so appreciated that. And I was just like, yo, because I remember I asked you, are you much of a reader? You're like, yeah, not really, no, And I was like, no, but it's not just about the reading aspect. Like, I really just wanted people to kind of, perhaps hear your story and then be inspired to be like, hey, you've got to start your business, you got to start your dream somewhere. And then it's that learning curve, right? So I'm so grateful, and I do appreciate that you have taken this time just to come and like chop it up, because I know, woman, you are so busy.
Thank
You're
you.
like always
No,
on
and
the
that's
grind.
that's actually part of, what my focus is too, is when I come across somebody that has questions or needs help, or it's, even if you're doing the same thing I am, it's not a competition for me. Like my road is my road, and like
Mm.
even if we're doing something similar, it like that's yours, this is mine. If I can help, share. I mean, it took me a lot of trial and error to get where I'm at now, and I still go through trial
Mm.
and error. But like any information that I have that might be able to help the next person, business
Mm.
wise, of course, I'm more than happy to share that and have a conversation with you or give you the information that I have. The wholesale people that I work with. So I'm constantly trying to share that, or just I'm an open book,
Right.
all the time.
Man, I love that, because, like you said, like, it's, some people, it's like forever, it's a competition, trying to one up, and it's like, nah, it doesn't have to be like that. And like recently, I started something as well, and like I noticed that, like, when someone else started something, other people that I knew were super promoting that stuff, and I was like, oh, nah, it's so good, like, I love what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna keep making what I'm making because
Mhm.
it's more therapeutic for me. And then I have my dedicated customers, my friends from work who are always rocking my earrings and stuff. And I'm like, that's cool with me because it's more about, it's a space where I can just be creative and just, it's more therapeutic, right? As opposed to, I'm
Mhm.
not trying to one up anyone. I guess people going to support or who they're going to support, but yeah, it hasn't stopped me from supporting some of my other friends who are making things. They're out there doing accessories and stuff, and I love it. Like, I just think, as women, more of us need to be like, uplifting one another and, definitely just looking out and, doing what we love. So, man,
Yes, I
um,
agree. Definitely.
man, so much soul, man. Honestly, you have that hoodie that she has soul. And honestly, the thing at our school, we have these days where you can dress down, right? Dress down day. And everyone knows, oh, dress down day. Rosa's coming with a hoodie and sneakers. I'm like, yes, I'm coming with a hoodie and sneakers. And, I wore She Has Soul. And honestly, when I wear that hoodie, even this one, like those are my two favorites. Like, it's the soul part. Like, honestly, it's the soul part. I just feel like it makes me feel some kind of way. Like, for real, sis.
And
It's
it's
like,
funny, like it's funny that you say that because that was I chose that name like based off of So Much Soul, right? And like that was my personal like that was me. Like
yeah.
that's my thing, you know? So I started the She Has Soul, which is my personal page, and
Mm,
I kind of flipped that into being its own design. And like I
right.
was just explaining this to my mom the other day, like She Has Soul to me is not about me. It's yes, that's my
Mm,
name on online and stuff, but like this is for all the women out there, and even for the men that have a soulful woman. It's like
mm,
I have men that have bought the shirt to wear it, in regards to their
mm,
significant other. And, I kind of have been sitting on a lot of designs that I created or I started, and it was all about like the She Has Soul. And,
yeah.
I just made a new one. I actually made a new one, and I'm going to send you one, but I just made it for like a handful of like the girls around me and the women around
Mm,
me. And it's like, this it's not I'm giving it to you as a representation of
mm.
me. It's like I'm giving it to you because like you should be rocking that. You should be wearing that, and feeling exactly how you felt when what you
For
just described right
real.
now. That was my hope, and thankfully it actually
Like,
worked out that way.
honestly, I know I sound so dramatic, but I just, like, for real, the soap, it's like, man, because I think, I remember when I saw it, I was like, yo, I gotta get these designs. And then what's even more cool is the She Has Soul. Like, I was able to get it in gold, right? And it just, like, it honestly makes me I feel really empowered. And I know that empowerment is a word that people kind of just throw out there, but
Mhm.
I think about, like, the work that you put into your company, and I see the grind online. I see what you're doing, and like, I feel so empowered because it makes me feel like, yo, I can do I got my side hustle. It makes me feel empowered to be like, yo, here's someone, you know, here, sister over here is just rocking it. You're on the grind. Like, I can do that. Like, I feel empowered to be like, I can be better. I can do better. I can just dream and
Yes.
do whatever I want to do. Like, that's, I know it's
No,
like
it
you,
really is that deep.
like, yeah. I mean, people are probably like,
It's
huh? And I'm like, no, for real, because I think, like I said, the word empowerment is thrown around so kind of like, yeah, it's there, but it's just to, and it's cool that you're like even sharing some of your backstory. And then I'm like, yo, so I wasn't making all that up. Like, I really felt that.
No, even down to what you were saying a little bit ago, asking like, how it seemed like I had a part in all the process, and it's like
Mm,
I do everything now. Other
mm.
than I don't obviously make the shirts themselves. I
Right,
don't.
right.
The only thing I don't that I outsource now is my
Mm.
stickers.
Yes.
Only
Oh,
because
I love the stickers.
I have a really good place that I go to them for my stickers now. And other than that, I do everything myself. And that was because of the trial and error. I mean, I wasted so
Right.
much time, so much money, so
Mm.
frustrating, relying on other people. And,
Right.
when everything at one point got ripped away from me, it just
Mm.
completely, like, I just didn't even want anything to do with it. I left it alone for maybe 2 years. I didn't do anything.
Wow.
And every day it was just like, I just never left. My mind was just like, what are you doing? So I got to a point just randomly one day and I'm like, no, that's it. I'm done. And that was maybe 3 years ago. And
Wow.
in those 3 years, I mean, I started with like the most minimal equipment. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know materials. I didn't know temperature. I mean, I knew the blanket, general information about stuff, but I didn't know how to do the
Mm.
process myself. And I taught myself, and I learned the hard way. But now it's like I can tell you the quality of stuff that I use. I'm definitely I know it's good product, and I mean I tested on my own stuff.
Yes.
I test everything before I put it out there.
Mm.
I mean, between myself, everybody around me, especially like my kids, because
Mm.
one of them is really hard on the clothes and the other one throws everything
Yeah.
in the dryer, and it's like so when I'm passing through the laundry room, it's funny because I'll always, like, I'll pick like a shirt and I'll just
Yeah,
like,
you're
oh, what is
like,
that? Okay, cool, we're good.
okay. Yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned that because that was the other thing that I forgot to say at the beginning is the quality of the hoodies. Because as I said, I was buying, supporting these different businesses, but then I'll get the shirt and then put it in the, I'd be like, put it in the dryer or something. And it comes, I'm like, what the, because it's so thin, it wasn't right. And I'll be like, damn, I really paid that much just to get that shirt. And this is what happened. But man, the hoodies and even the t-shirt, like the hoodie quality is so, so good because there are just so many companies out there who I feel are just, they have these people doing the stuff for them and it's real hands off that they don't actually see that what they're really sending out, it
Right.
doesn't turn out to be like a real good, like
Yeah,
good
that's
quality.
one thing
So
that
I
I love
appreciated this.
is that I mean I do everything myself, so everything is like done one piece at a time, one part at a time. If it's multiple colors, it takes that long too. So, but no,
Wow.
I mean, and I worry too when I send stuff out. It's like, oh my God, please, like, don't lift, don't rip, don't,
Yeah.
anything. It's like, of course, I worry about that stuff. I haven't had any problems recently, but like I said, I go through my own quality control at home, so
Yeah.
so I try to do my
What
best.
in terms of family, like what are they in terms of your business, like they're your they're your like testers, the guinea pigs that you test things on. But I mean, how important has their support been,
Oh,
just for you as a mother and businesswoman? Like how has that been?
absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it the way I
Mm.
am at home. I do everything at home too, so
Mm.
um, and have my sweatshop set up, and they respect it. Everybody knows, when I'm working, or if I need to focus, there's food in the fridge. Make do what you got to do. So
Oh.
it's everybody's really supportive, and also now everybody benefits from it too because when they need something, I'm gonna make it. So um, everybody knows. I mean, that's kind of how the design started because it wasn't just about so much soul anymore. It was the fact that I
Mm.
was able to make stuff and make stuff
Yeah.
for other people. So I started doing the designs before I even put it out there. I mean, I had been doing it for a
Wow.
while, which is why I was like, you know what? Like, this needs to be a whole different side of So Much Soul because now it's
Mm.
me making things. It's like from having an idea and being able to create it and then actually create a product and then get it to you. You wear it or you give it as a gift. It's just like the
Yeah.
whole process. I love that. That makes me happy. Makes me so happy to be able
Man,
to do that.
that passion and drive is just, it's awesome. I was wondering because you don't just, it's not just like clothing. You make just anything, right?
Yeah. Anything I
And
can get my hands
yeah,
on now.
like in
Yeah.
terms of design, are you designing? I mean, I know, can I ask? Are you designing on an iPad, or is it all
Mm,
hand drawn, and then you kind of like
I wish I could draw.
print?
I can't draw. No, I do everything on my laptop.
Yeah, on your
Like
laptop.
once in a while, because I get a lot of requests for like like people will see stuff like on Etsy or on
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram, and it's like I'm not gonna like copy it, so like
Right, right,
I'll go to Etsy and I'll buy the files from people,
right.
and then I'll make the stuff myself. But for
Nice.
the most part, I mean, if it's something simple and it's like, I could just create it in my own way for that person, I do that. So I'm not technical, like as far as like
Yeah.
designing something. I mean, if I see something and I'm just like, no, I can't do that. Sorry. Like that's just way too much. I know.
I've
I'm not
always
that
wondered. I've always wondered.
I'm not at that level. But I mean, I was just having this conversation with a cousin the other day, and I'm really happy with where I'm at right now because, you know, being most self-taught, I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
never thought I
that's
never thought I'd be doing
amazing.
that. So it's been
Far
awesome.
out. Do you think that in terms of business, like you are a one man woman show, man, one man gang? Do you know, in terms of like evolving, do you want to grow your company? You know,
Yeah.
where do you see yourself like a year from now, a few years, or are you just kind of like happy that for right now you're kind of like sorting everything, like every step of the way you're like keeping an eye on everything? Like, do you think you could let other people in so that they do some of the work for you, like take the burden off you, right? Because I imagine
So
you've got loads to do.
yeah, it's definitely all of the above for that question. I'm definitely thankful where I'm at. I'm super appreciative to be this far. And I say this far because 2 years ago, I wouldn't have expected where I was a year ago, and a year ago,
Mm,
I wouldn't have expected to be where I'm at today. So, I just feel like I don't really put like a timestamp on anything, or
mm,
I have goals, but like it's not, it's I'm open to change. I take it as it comes.
mm.
I do have a bigger picture, and I have even like in the garage right now, I'm just like, I'm outgrowing this space. I definitely
Yeah,
need, I'm getting like closed in, and it's just,
right.
it's really hard. But um, I do have a bigger goal, and like I was saying earlier about helping other people,
Mm,
that's incorporated into what I want to do as well, for the
mm.
future. I've been able to do that little by little. I try to teach my kids. They're just
Yeah.
not, I'm not gonna pressure them into it, but
You're like-
there's some days I'm just like, oh, if you guys only knew how much help I needed right now, like.
right,
But like there's been times too, like my kids know how to like, it's called weeding, which is
right,
part of like taking out the excess, like
right.
vinyl, and they both know how to weed, and they get
Okay.
to a point where they're like, can I stop now? Like I'm tired.
Can I go now? Like,
And then it's funny because like my mom always wants to help, and like she can't physically, so I'm just like, no, mom, like no, like thank you, but no, thank you.
Man.
So, but yeah, no, it's interesting. But no, I definitely have bigger goals that I want. So my boyfriend's an artist as well, and
Oh,
but he's an artist, like he does like the stuff on the wall.
like graph
He
and all
makes
that kind of
art he
stuff.
makes art pieces out of
Oh,
recycled
wow.
materials. So
What?
yeah, it's super cool.
Yo, business. Come on, man.
So
Collab.
that's where we're at now. We had collaborated on a couple pieces before, but it was just because of
Hmm.
it was with his photography, and then sorry, we incorporated that into a design, and put that on shirts and
Wow.
sweatshirts and stuff. So now we've come to a different place, and
Yeah.
it's been, I have a lot of houseplants, a lot. You can never have enough. But like my love for plants is just like it's awesome. I love it. I love plants. My mom loves plants. The
Yeah.
family loves plants. And then um, I've been getting into like more of the plant industry and just plant
Mm,
life.
mm, mm.
And so with his artistic ability of building stuff and me with the merch and just having ideas for designs of putting designs on anything. So we kind of are collaborating right now on a new venture, and it's
That is
called
so dope.
Soul Soulful of Plants. We'll be releasing pieces starting hopefully by the end of this week. Actually, we're getting everything together now, so that's going to be
That's
exciting,
exciting.
interesting.
Oh, I
So
can't wait to see
never
what you guys
stops.
dropped. Yeah, but I love it, man. That's, like, why stop when it's, you're enjoying it and you're passionate about it and, sharing it with everyone. I mean, it's
Everybody,
so,
yeah.
so cool. Like,
And that's the thing too, is like there's no direct audience that I've ever really been focused on. I mean, I know it's like a lot
mm,
of music related stuff and it may
mm,
seem like more hip hop based. That's just,
yeah,
what I love too, but it's
mm,
it's the soul about it. It's like the music, it's the feeling, it's the
right.
people, it's just everything, combined, and it's not about a
Mm,
particular group of people or age group,
mm.
anything like that. So
And that's what I noticed. Like, sometimes companies, their models look one way, certain age, but I noticed the first thing I noticed is just little kids are rocking the merch. It's just a whole range of people, ages, ethnicities and cultures, which I thought was super cool. I was like, okay, for the people, that's what's up. But it's interesting that you mentioned music, because I saw this on your website, um, and I wanted to ask about this love for music. So, music touches our souls and bridges us together in ways that come without explanation. Bring every age, culture, genre, and generation of people together through timeless and soul felt music. So much so, clothing gives a way to express the soulfulness with simple messages that all revolve around peace, love, and positivity from our soul to yours. Thank you for the love and support. I was just like, I read this and I was just like, yeah, man. Then like, like, yeah, love for music. What kind of music moves your soul?
oh my gosh. It's so different every day.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely have my go-tos, and anybody that knows me knows my playlist is always going to include,
right.
certain groups or artists. But
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, it's obviously hip hop is a huge part of my life, and that's
right.
just different and different type of hip hop. I mean,
Mm,
like I grew up, where it was like Slum Village just coming out and
yeah,
Little
yeah,
Brother just
yeah.
coming out, and it was like the Ninth Wonder, and then you know Jay Dilla, and I came into like a really good part of music at
Right.
that time. Not to say that anything is anything less than that, but kind of. And I listen to new music too, and I have the kids that show me new music, and I'm just like, what are you listening
Yeah, what is this?
to? But then,
What is this trap music?
oh my God, we're not even gonna get into that one. But I grew up with like oldies and you know, rap, like real like rap,
Mm,
and then I had my mom on the other side, and it was like Anita Baker and Sade and really easygoing music. But like I listen to all of that today still. Like I
right.
really do. So that's why I don't really like if I had to just break it down to one type for myself, it's really hard to
Mm.
do because I listen to so much all day long,
You have an eclectic
working in the
range.
working in the garage, you're always gonna hear music, or if you don't hear music, it's because we're watching something, or you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely music based, but not in any
Mm.
particular type of music.
How would your kids describe you? What would they say about their mum? What would they, if they had to describe you to a complete
It's
stranger, someone, yeah, what would they say?
I don't know. I mean, I would hope they would say what I think, but we had these conversations recently, and actually it came up with both of them like at different times and by themselves. And I was like, you know, I hope you really know you have a pretty cool mom. So, I mean, I hope that they would say the same, but like I'm really close to my kids and I have a really good
Yeah.
relationship with both. And, you know, my daughter, she's older, she's 17, and my son, he's 9.
Mm,
It's a pretty big age gap, but you know,
right.
they're both extremely loving and caring, and you know, we have really good relationships. We're really honest with each other and stuff. So, I mean,
Mm,
I'm really honest with them as far as myself, so I don't really
yeah.
know. Like, I'm sure they have plenty of bad things to say, but I hope they wouldn't feel that way you know, in general.
Man. What traits do you have any traits from your mom or your dad that are kind of like, I don't know, annoying traits from your mom or your dad? Either or.
Annoying traits.
Characteristics.
Besides worrying too much, I don't nothing bad. I mean, I don't even know if I have anything bad from them. You can probably
Right.
ask my kids.
What are the best traits do you reckon that you got from your mom and dad? From
Um,
either your mom or dad?
yeah, definitely mom and grandparents too. Um,
Mm,
like so much like love and respect was always
mm,
shown and taught, and you know, respecting, like always respecting your elders, and you know, just being respectful towards each other. And
right.
like we're really affectionate. So you know, like we say good morning with a hug, we say good night with a
Oh.
hug, you know. And my mom has this cute little like double kiss, and like she'll do like side to side, like if she's like it's just really cute. So so everybody knows, like when they give my mom a hug and a kiss, it's like you have
Yeah.
to do a double kiss.
You're going.
So, and then it's funny when you do it so much with her, and then you go and say hi to somebody else, and you go to do the second one, and it's like, oh shoot, no, it's not you.
Wrong. Get it right. Get it right. Oh, that's
No,
hilarious.
no, my
Oh,
mom
that's
is like
hilarious.
really. My mom's had a really rough road too, but like where she's at today,
Mm,
we both are just so honest and open
mm,
with life and with each other, and super supportive. And um, I guess when you've kind of broken down to have nothing, you appreciate
mm,
everything. And that's, you know, that's where we're at. We keep each other going every day, and you know,
mm.
we make it work for sure. So
Man. Oh. Sorry, I'm just like, okay, give me a moment. That was cool. So in terms of looking after yourself, right? In terms of self-care, just because you're always on the go, you're such a go-getter. I love and respect that. But how do you get time to yourself to, just treat yourself? There are things that you enjoy doing besides looking after the plants, that doesn't involve, that just gives you time to kind of chill out and do your thing. Like besides the designs, besides the business, yeah, what else do you enjoy doing?
I was gonna say the plants have been a huge therapy.
Yeah, I
Um,
was going to say, do you
it
just kind of sit there and just
really,
soak
and
it
that
all in?
yeah, no, I mean, even like I'll walk into, you know, into a room in the house, and it's like I'll just stare for a little bit, like, do you need water? Like, oh, new babies are coming, and you know, it's just
Right,
it takes
right.
my mind away for a second. But no, on the normal, I actually I started taking more breaks, more recent,
Mm.
and it's funny because even my son's like, Mom, take a break, you know, like because
Oh,
when you're talking about like, oh, when do I sleep? It's like
yeah.
I'm you know, I'll get up in the morning, get the kids ready for school and stuff throughout the year, and then sometimes I'll go back to sleep and I'll keep up with them throughout the day, through the morning, making sure like my son, not my daughter so much, but my son, like, okay, you're back in class, okay, you're back from
Mm,
lunch, you know, so constantly on that schedule. And um, so my day starts later in the morning
mm,
and into the afternoon. So by the time I'm done, you know, running errands and doing all that stuff, my actual work time doesn't start until like the evening. So then I'll work
mm.
into like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because that's my quiet time. And
Right,
so
right.
like that's me time. But other than that, you know, my son, like, he's just like, Mom, you need to take a break. And I'm like, okay, well, I take a break when I sleep. But
Mm,
you know, I recently started like taking breaks, getting out of the house. Like I'll just detach for a little bit, like you know,
It's
and it
good.
doesn't even have to be a specific thing or go
Right.
anywhere. You know, I'll sit down and I'll watch a program with my mom, or it's really rare,
Oh,
but it's, you know, I just do what I feel in the moment. If I feel like I need a break, I'll take a break. If I need to get out of the house, I'll get out of the house. But I'm such a
that's
homebody
cool.
now too. I love being
Yeah.
home.
You're like, yo, I'm good.
Especially after all this COVID stuff, I'm just like, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to stay home.
Yeah, for real. I
And
mean, how, like in terms of that, like, was your family okay during, I mean, I don't want to say because the pandemic is still going, but, did your friends and family, was everyone okay during this time? Is everyone, like, I know that the cities, I know that the states are starting to open up now.
mhm.
So man, that must be super stressful.
It was, I mean, it has been, that was, it has
Mm,
been, especially because my mom she's like, she's not healthy. So having her
mm,
here with us, was really, I'm already really careful when I go out, just even in like the regular seasons of like the flus and the colds and,
mm,
just bringing anything back home. We're already really careful. So with COVID,
right.
she went through a phase where she was just watching the news all the time and she was getting herself
Mm.
sick and stressing us out. And I'm like, look, you're going to get an hour of news a day. Like I can't have you getting sick just by watching the news,
Right,
So
right.
it was really rough. We all just, came together and got, uh, made sure that we were all being very careful and,
Mm,
nobody really went anywhere for a while. And, even like
mm.
my sister, we didn't even get to see my sister. She would drive, do a little drive by and stuff with my niece. And
Oh,
it was sad, it was real sad, but now we're good. Everybody's been pretty healthy. Um,
mm,
it got real close to home at some point, and we did actually lose a couple of family members. But other
mm,
than that, in my immediate direct circle of friends and family, we've all luckily been pretty healthy. Whether anybody's had it or not,
mm.
everybody's still okay now. So
Wow.
thankfully,
And so, for real, right? And were your kids, did they have school all year, or were they doing online learning, or
online all year
they
since
were
the end of
online
last
all
year.
year? Roses.
Yeah,
So they didn't even go back in September, August? It
mm-mm.
was just online?
Everything. Yeah, because
Wow.
the way we ended last school year was
Mm,
they were online also. So when
mm.
we started the new school year, they already had their computers, and I thought they were going to go
Wow.
back after like spring break time. But no, they didn't. So we made it through the year. Luckily, and that's the thing too, is
Man.
like luckily I was able to be home with them, because if
Right.
I wasn't doing what I do,
Mm,
and being able to be home with them, like this wouldn't have worked out at all. I mean, it was really stressful because it's like, maybe I have to go back to a regular job, but I'm like, I can't
mm.
leave. How am I supposed to leave them and leave my mom? And I can't.
Right.
So luckily everything has worked out. Now they're on break, so we have
Yes. What's
we have
up,
a little bit of
summer break?
time.
Some downtime. That's cool, man. I'm glad, obviously sad that you lose some loved ones, but glad that, otherwise everyone's, pretty much okay. It's always good to hear that. Who has been, I know you've mentioned mum quite a bit. Who has been like the most influential person in your life?
Oh, I mean, I think like the motivation and the drive, it kind of sums up everybody for me. Like everybody
Mm,
has a place in each of those feelings and reasons. Um, and it's a constant like being inspired and being motivated, and
mm,
that's what keeps me going. I mean, that's what got me here in the first place. Like I wanted to do better for my kids, or I wanted to do better for myself, or I want to create something that my mom couldn't, and kind of like it just brings everything full circle. Like even now I love it because my niece she's 3, and for me to be able to make even just a simple little shirt for her, and
yeah.
it's like whatever she likes, and see her wearing it and she loves it, she'll tell me who's on her shirt, and it's
Oh,
like those
that's
little
so
things,
cute.
like they play a part in why I do what I do,
Mm,
like my kids loving it, like my boyfriend loving it, my cousins, everybody, my friends. I mean,
yeah.
everybody has a place in like why they're there, and what they've
Mm,
been to me. So yeah, my mom's definitely like on the top of that list though.
mm. That's so cool. If someone was to write a book about you,
Well, don't do.
what do you think? What do you think the book would be called, or what would you name the book if someone was to write a
That
story
would
about you?
definitely have to be a She Has Soul title.
For real, definitely. Oh, I mean, honestly,
That
it
that
just
that has
moves
to
you.
be, and that can apply to, like my mom's story, my sister's story, my
Mm,
story, my daughter's story even. It's like
mm,
we all have different levels to this life that we live in, and we all play a huge role for each other. And that's the love that I have and give, and I was raised this way, and I raised my kids this way.
mm,
So whether I'm doing things wrong or right, I mean, my kids are a product of what I've been doing, so they're all right. So I guess
mm.
I've been doing an okay job.
In terms of like culture, um, like your upbringing, were you, like certain, I mean, did culture
It's
have a
funny.
big part in your upbringing?
No, not at all, actually.
Mm,
Um, I my another little snippet of Crystal, nobody really knows. So like I was raised like without my biological father, so
mm,
that side would have been a little bit, or actually would have been a lot more into the culture, and
mm,
definitely, I would have been speaking another language and had,
mm,
a whole different understanding of like where I come from, but not
mm,
having that, it just kind of took all of that out for me. And that's,
mm,
I see a lot of like culture things, and real like big on the backgrounds and what you came from, and I
mm,
love that. I wish I had that, but I
mm,
just it's just not in me. So that's why I don't
mm,
really focus so much on like the culture of anything, because
mm.
I mean, the culture of what I do now, it's like it's the soul based, and how I
Yeah, that's
feel.
absolutely, that's a culture in itself, like this, what you've created, you know?
And yeah,
Wow.
that's how I that's how I keep my that's what I
Mm,
keep my focus on.
mm,
It's not about what language you're speaking, it's not about what,
mm,
where you were born, where you were
mm.
raised. Obviously, I mean, LA based for me, it's like I can't leave here.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
this
yeah.
this is what made me in every city, in every home I've lived in. It's like it's been a long journey in this, beautiful and ugly city. But
Mm,
culture of where I'm at now, yeah, because of where I'm from.
right. Is there a country that you've always wanted to travel to, or just a country that you've traveled to that has kind of really um, left a mark on you? I guess if you've traveled, or a country that you've always wanted to go to.
Um, a place I've always wanted to go to would be I really want to go to Thailand because I just think it's so beautiful.
Mm.
Um, Egypt is another one.
Oh, yeah,
Jamaica.
I haven't been there either. So I'm just like, yeah, yeah.
Like it's to me it's more of like the visual, and also like the culture of these
Mm,
places, and like I love that. But
mm,
as far as that, anywhere else, those are like those are my top three. And I haven't
nice.
been I haven't been very far in the US either, so we'll see when those will come
Yeah,
around.
I was going to say, have you traveled much around the
Not
country? I mean,
not really. I mean, I tried it like it's like the basic like San Diego, Las Vegas.
mm,
I just went to San Francisco recently, which was really cool. Um,
wow.
but yeah, it was, I like to travel, but it's just I don't think I've ever really just taken the time to just go. Like now
Yeah.
it's like think I can work it out. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go.
I got this. I got this.
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy. And what about food? What's your favorite food? Just randomly, what's
Sushi. Sushi is my
really?
favorite.
Shut up,
Which
really?
is really which is really weird because I just saw this documentary on Netflix, And it totally like changed my mind about what I'm
Right.
eating. And like, I try to be really conscious of what I eat now, which is
Mm,
like a different lifestyle for me too. I started
right.
maybe like almost 2 years ago now, and it just progressed. And I still eat like some crappy foods here and there, but like for
Right.
the most part, I just try to be cautious of what I'm eating.
Mm.
And then I seen this what was it called? Seaspiracy. Have you seen that?
No, but now I'm gonna go look it up after this.
Oh my God. See, so like if I'm not listening to music, I'm usually
Yeah.
like, for watching something, it's like a documentary or some kind of like
Yeah.
story about something.
Yeah.
But I seen this documentary and I'm just like, man, I don't even want to eat sushi. Like, what can we eat now? Everything is so, it's,
You
oh,
can just eat the seafood without the rice part.
not and but if you look when you watch this, you're gonna
Oh
be
my
like, oh
God.
yeah, I don't know if I want that anymore either.
For real.
Yeah.
So
So
that
anyways, but
means
yeah, sushi is
all
my
that's left,
favorite.
all that's left is for you to eat those plants in your house. That's it.
Which is actually what I'm
Safest,
having. That's what I'm having for dinner is a salad.
safest option, sis. Safest option. Eat the
That,
trees.
yeah, it makes you like not want to eat anything. Like, I don't want to eat like meat. I don't want to eat. I'll eat chicken. I eat chicken a lot. I don't really eat meat, but it makes
Yeah.
you question like every bite. Like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I eating
Oh my
this?
God. Now I'm gonna be watching you going, oh darn you, Crystal. Oh, that's
Sorry.
hilarious. Nah, you gotta live and learn something new every day. That's just how it is.
Uh-huh.
Um, so what are you most proud of? What is your most proudest achievement?
Jesus, being here today.
Being alive, being
No,
breathing.
I think the proudest to me is moments like this, where it's like you don't have a part of my daily life. You don't know,
Mm,
what it took for me to get here, but you've seen it and you saw something, and I appreciate that. And that to me is like, that makes the big the biggest impact of where I stand today. It's like,
mm.
that's a huge compliment. And it doesn't matter the platform, it doesn't matter the following or how many people it reaches. It's just the fact that like we can sit here and talk, and like, it's talking about me, which is usually like, I mean, I'll have conversations where like I'll talk a lot, but it's not in this context, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for what you're doing and taking the
You
time
know,
for
I
me.
was adamant, like I said, I saw something just in, I was just like, man, you gotta give people their flowers, and I can't give you physically be there, but I just, if this is a way that we can, you know, and you're so humble. That's the other thing, is you're super humble. Like, you're not someone who's gonna be like, yo, this is, you're just on that daily grind doing your thing. And I was like, if this is a way that we can get people to look you up and click on that link or on that Instagram page or website, that's cool. This is kind of what this is about, is I just want people to like meet these amazing and inspirational folk like yourself, who are just
Thank you.
kind of out there doing what you're doing, right? And of course, knowing that family is a huge part of what makes you who you are. I mean, that's super dope. And I think sometimes we don't have to go far to kind of like see, hey, I have people here that love what I'm doing and support, and that's super cool. No, so the pleasure is all mine. I'm just so grateful that you were like, yo, I got some time. I was like, yay, because I know, man, you're always busy. So just as we're kind of nearing the end, I really just want to ask you, I did tell you a requirement is that all the guests share a book, and you have an interesting book. I'm going
So
to zip it with my stories and just hand it over to you to tell us about this book that you've brought on the show today.
that goes back to like when you first had asked me like, do you like to read? And I'm like, not really. I mean, I like to listen to audiobooks, but as far
Right.
as reading, no. But like this kind of just sums it up for me, and why, I feel this way about my kids and why I feel this way about my upbringing. And this book was in my family, probably since it came out. It's called
Wow.
Love You Forever. And it's just a really, I don't I mean, the details of the story was funny because I just opened it up again, and I was looking at it yesterday, and I ended the book and I was in tears, and I gave it
Oh,
to my mom. I gave it to my mom, and I was like, "Read this," and I walked away. I said, "I'll be right back," and I came back, and she's sitting there in tears, and I'm like, "Yeah, you see, uh-huh." So it's just funny because, like, my grandmother got this book for my mom to give my sister and I when we were
mm,
young. And then, like, it's funny because I seen it again recently, and I'm like, "Where's the book at? Like, I know I have it. Where is it?" And my mom's like, "No, your sister has it." I'm like, "No, she has her book. So she has it. She has it for my niece." And,
mm,
like, it's not something that I necessarily read to my kids. It was just more of
mm,
like what I was brought up with, and the story
mm,
basically is just, the love from a mother to her son, and which in return goes from her son to his child. And just the full circle, it's just such a cute story, but the beauty of it for us is like it all ties in together from, like my grandparents to my mom, and then, my sister and I, and then now our kids, and like
mm,
the way we all feel about each other. I mean, my sister and how she's super close with my daughter and my son, and how I'm really close to my niece. It's like
mm,
it's a whole circle of life. And, like,
mm,
me taking care of my mom now, that's kind of how it is at the end of this book. And it's just, it's if you know my story and you see that book, you'll understand. So for me to explain it, I hope it's understood. But,
mm.
we're such a tight knit little family, and like we love each other so much. So the book has a saying that they say, that the mom sings to the little boy, and
Mhm.
then the boy sings to his son. And we don't say that, but like we have a saying that started with my grandfather and went to my mom, and my mom says it to, my sister and I, and we say it to the kids. And now it ended up that with each kid they added something at the end, and it's just so cute because like now we have like this saying that originated as something, and we all say it all the time. Like, I mean, my sister and I say it to each other, I say it to the kids, my kids say it to my mom, and it's just
What's
like,
the
and
saying?
everybody that
What's
knows me personally knows it. So it says, "I love you mucho mucho, lotta lotta, and a whole bunch." And
oh,
then my daughter added good night when she was little. So like now we have to say the whole thing.
mm,
And then like my son, he'll say the same thing too. But like it's just cute because like, um my niece, whenever we say the end part, we say good night. She's like, "No, good night." Like, no, it's not nighttime. We're not going to bed yet. But it's just part of like how we
yeah.
started saying that to each other. So it's just really cute. So that's why this story, it still resonates with us and with me. And
Um,
it has been, kind of like a little skeleton of how we were structured. So that's why
mm.
I chose that book.
That is so special for real, man. Wow. So I guess that right there, I'm going to then ask you just to, if you can just share some words of wisdom. I mean, you know what? You have dropped so many gems, so many jewels today. Like I feel like, um, how can your story not resonate with someone? How can just I know it will. And I really just want to say before you have the final words, again, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, for coming on the show. I know it took a lot of courage for you because I've kind of been, I don't want to say I was nagging. Okay, I was nagging. I go, come on the show. I would love to share your
No,
story.
not at all.
And so, I do appreciate the it took you courage just to be on here and just to share, like you said, snippets of your journey, inspirational journey, as a mother, as a businesswoman. So, again, how right here, she has soul for real. That makes me feel some kind of way. But let's, final words of wisdom for our audience, for those listening, for those who may be watching. Drop the ball.
I get it really is, and I hate to even seem like cliche about it, but like, just don't give up, don't
Mm,
ever give up. And no matter how many times, like, if it's a person, if it's a thing, if it's, a company, or, somebody tells you no, or you get no's, or you feel like at a crossroads, like, there's some words of wisdom for you right there. My mom always told me, give yourself two choices. Always give yourself two choices. Always give yourself, an option. I guess that's why I'm so open to like change and like making moves quickly, or letting things ride for a while, or being solid in a decision. It's like I have that. You have to give life that leeway. You can't always. There's a way to structure life, and like you have a plan and you stick to it, but then you don't always know what comes with that. There's always going to be obstacles and things that try to, get in your way and test your wisdom and test your willpower. And that's one thing that I do know about myself is like I'm, I'm not going nowhere. And I just hope, when the day comes and I'm no longer here, I just hope that there's, I leave a good teaching to whoever needs it. I'm still learning, definitely still learning. I'm still learning lessons, still learning about myself, and it's definitely challenging, to balance life, and that's in everybody's, I think, position. But definitely difficult some days, but it's also huge. At the end of the day, when I lay down, finally, I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired. But it was
Mm.
such a productive day, and even if it's just running errands and picking up and dropping off and taking people here and there, and it's just, to me, that's my duty, that's my job, that's what I love to do, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I wish I could do more. I wish there was more hours in the day most days, but you know it's just, don't ever give up. I mean, there's always something to do, and there's always some way to better yourself. I know that for sure.
That's it, folks. That is, Crystal, you are amazing. Keep on keeping on. Um, look after yourself, so you can be the best you for your family. Inspirational, sis, for real.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing also. It's very inspiring as well.
We got this.
Yes, always.